Readers, Mr. Laval, I'm back to talk about some realistic fiction. Hopefully, you are enjoying the book that you've picked out, whether you got a hard copy or you're reading on your Epic app. That's fantastic. Keep enjoying that same book. It's important to start a book and finish that same book and not jump around from book to book. So, hopefully, you're reading the same book that you were reading yesterday. I want to get into characters again today, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to talk a little bit more now about types of characters and ways that we can classify characters. So, yesterday we had talked about major and minor characters. Today, I would like to talk a little bit about static and dynamic. Static and dynamic characters. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what this means. So, just like in class, say static on three, 1, 2, 3. Now say dynamic on three, 1, 2, 3. In fact, say dynamic like you're underwater on three, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. All right, let's talk a little bit about static characters. Static characters are characters that do not change throughout the course of a book. For the most part, they stay the same throughout the whole story. Okay, now they might make little changes here and there, but their personality really is the same. There isn't anything major where they go from kind of, good to bad, bad to good. There's not a big change. A dynamic character is the opposite. They're characters that undergo a big change in the book, and it's usually something affects him that happens in the story. It's usually a big event that happens in the story. So, the characters might change due to a major life experience or event in the story. They could have what we call a change of heart. They could develop some likable qualities where we like them a little bit more as readers, or sometimes they go the other way where we don't like them as much and we have a negative opinion on them. But something big happens, an event happens, conflict happens in the story, and that character changes. Okay, and in this example up here from Lion King, we have Scar and we have Simba, and Scar pretty much is the same throughout the whole story, right? He's this nasty, evil lion who doesn't like Mufasa, doesn't like Simba, and he is definitely a static character. Simba could be considered dynamic because he does change throughout the course of the book. For a while, he doesn't want anything to do with the kingdom and he wants to get away, and he feels guilty because he thinks he caused Mufasa's death. But then he comes back to fight Scar and be brave and take ownership of his kingdom. So these are two good examples of static and dynamic characters. All right, when we look at static and dynamic characters a little bit more, I have a couple other examples that we could relate to here. When we look at static characters, another example could be Palomino, right? Palomino from Swindle is a static character. He doesn't change. He's a nasty, greedy cheater the whole story. He swindles the kids out of the baseball card. Towards the end of the story, he uses hockey tickets that aren't his. He's a liar. He's a cheat. He really is that same way the whole book. He's a static character. Now, dynamic characters are characters that change. So when we think about the classic Christmas story of the Grinch changes. He's dynamic. He changes from at the beginning of the story. He hates Christmas. He wants nothing to do with the Who's. He wants nothing to do with Whoville. In fact, he goes down and steals all their Christmas gifts. And then at the end, he has a change of heart. And he realizes that he loves Christmas and he loves the Christmas spirit, and that's what Christmas is really about. And he races back down there and he joins in on their celebration. He definitely is a dynamic character. Peter could be another example of a dynamic character from Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing. Most of the book, he's annoyed by his younger brother Fudge. He doesn't really like him all that much. But at the end, he has this change of heart when Fudge gets sick and eats his turtle and has to have an operation. Peter's nervous. He's worried. We find out that he truly cares about Fudge and he truly loves him, even though he gets annoyed with him. So these are some examples of characters that we would know about. Static and dynamic characters. Now it's your turn. So as you're reading today, you're reading your Just Right Realistic Fiction book, and you're going to analyze each character and decide if they're static or dynamic. Write static or dynamic next to each character, and then tell why. Put your text evidence of why they're static or why they're dynamic. Okay, so that's your assignment today.